A couple of days ago, I recorded a video about all the rumors swirling around Daredevil Born Again on Disney Plus, and what an absolute epic disaster it actually appeared it was going to be. It was definitely in that echo territory of something that had been filmed, and Kevin Feige was having a lot of buyer's remorse on, and they're probably just going to have to reluctantly put it out. It turns out that is not the case. They're actually overhauling everything they do at Disney Plus when it comes to their MCU television shows. I'm not going to cover that here today. I'm actually going to do a video tomorrow on it because, like I said, I had already recorded a video about all these rumors about everything wrong with Daredevil Born Again, and this news came out. So I'm going to talk about the changes coming to Daredevil Born Again, the fallout of that, and then we'll get into the rumors, and it's going to look like two different videos because it had already been edited by my editor, and this is obviously being recorded after the fact. I got new shirts on. The lighting's probably a little bit different at this point. Hopefully the audio's not too much different, but this is definitely pertinent information to what I'd already recorded, and we had to add it to it. So let's get right into it and talk about the enormous changes coming to Daredevil Born Again. In late September, Marvel quietly let go of head writers Chris Ward and Matt Corman, and also released the directors for the remainder of the season as part of a significant creative reboot of Daredevil Born Again. The Hollywood Reporter has learned the studio is now on the hunt for new writers and directors for the project, which stars Charlie Cox's Matt Murdock, a blind lawyer turned superhero. Now, if that is not an outright admission that what you're about to hear from me, these rumors are likely all true, they actually fired all the writers and they got rid of the directors. And here's the really crazy thing. As far as I know, they had actually already recorded halfway the first season, which I think is supposed to be 18 episodes. They had recorded 9 episodes worth of stuff. Kevin Feige finally decided to look at it and was like, oh my goodness, we can't actually do this to Daredevil. People are going to compare this to the show that was on Netflix, and we're going to get laughed off of streaming. We have to just scrap all of it. They're spending like $200 million a season on shows that are half the length of what Daredevil Born Again was supposed to be. Now, they hadn't gotten to post-production and adding effects and all that kind of stuff and music, so obviously those costs aren't associated with it, but they spent a tremendous amount of capital all in the very first season already. To just scrap everything and start over from the beginning is absolutely insane. But once you hear these rumors, you'll understand why. And just Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios have got to get their house in order when it comes to the MCU shows on Disney Plus. They are not a value add anymore. It's really becoming more and more embarrassing. We know Echo is going to come out. There are a lot of rumors about that. It's even worse than what Daredevil Born Again has put out. People really hated Secret Invasion. We got Agatha Harkness coming out, Wonder Man. They do not know what they're doing. Now let's get into why all this is happening. Let's talk about these rumors. The impending disaster that was Daredevil Born Again, which apparently Kevin Feige actually noticed this time and decided to just scrap everything, eat 50, 60, 70 million dollars and say, screw it. That wasn't good enough. We have to start over. I can't remember anything just in television history than the difference between Daredevil, Matt Murdock, in the Netflix show, in the She-Hulk show on Disney Plus. And apparently Kevin Feige and the brain trust at Marvel Studio are, not surprisingly, leaning more towards the She-Hulk version of Daredevil. It sounds very bad. These are rumors, but if these rumors are true, I can't imagine a worse storyline or idea to actually relaunch Daredevil as a character in Daredevil Born Again onto Disney Plus. And when I tell you what this rumor is, you're going to roll your eyes and you're going to say, there's actually no way in hell Kevin Feige is that stupid. But then about 15 seconds later, you're going to do this. You're going to go, because then you're going to realize, wait, Kevin Feige is actually the chief creative officer over Marvel Comics. And then his track record also with the MCU on Disney Plus might make it just a little bit more plausible. Not just a little bit more plausible. At this point, I almost think this is almost likely that this is the direction that Kevin Feige and the morons at Marvel Studios are going to take Daredevil. It's absolutely hilarious. I hope you're not a Punisher fan or Daredevil fan, or basically a fan of any of that kind of stuff, because you're not going to like this. Rumors are swirling that Daredevil Born Again, in part, deals with corrupt police using the Punisher logo, echoing real-world concerns. It's known that Jon Bernthal is set to return as the Punisher in Daredevil Born Again, so perhaps the Punisher gets involved when he realizes corrupt police officers are using his logo in the wrong way. If legit, we see the story mirrors the real world, as it is known various members of the military and police organizations favor the use of the Punisher Skull logo, which left-wingers hate. And if you remember, it actually mirrors a somewhat recent story by Punisher, where he went and told the police officers, if you do what I do, wearing that Punisher logo, I'll kill you too, or something really stupid like that. It was like, I'm the one that's murdering people, but you are the bad guys because you're actually wearing the Punisher skull to represent your brotherhood in arms, whether it be police or military or whatever. This is like one of the dumbest things I've ever seen as far as public discourse. A bunch of people that know nothing about the Punisher, a bunch of people that don't actually support Marvel Comics getting upset because police and military like the Punisher skull because it's cool, not because they like Frank Castle per se. It's not like people in the military are going, yeah, I wish I could just murder people left and right like Punisher does. Or the police are saying, yeah, I wish I didn't have any rules on me. Like, oh, Frank Castle, I wish I could do that. It's just like the skull looks cool. It's a good logo. It's something that represents something to them personally. Daredevil Born Again is, in my opinion, the best Frank Miller story he's ever written. It's the best Daredevil story of all time. It's even better than like, Batman Year One, which is another fantastic Frank Miller story. Better than Sin City, better than 300, any of that stuff. I think his best work is Daredevil Born Again. And it just sucks so bad that they're taking no inspiration from the actual story. They're just taking the name because it's a cool name. And a lot of people associate it with one of the greatest comic book stories of all time. And then they're just washing it with a new coat of paint of shit that people don't even care about. Are you excited to watch a Daredevil show about Punisher getting upset that people are using his logo? Well, actually, it kind of gets worse because if you actually like Daredevil himself, this might not be the show for you. It's really not even going to be a Daredevil show. It's going to be about Matt Murdock. The rumor again comes via Can We Get Some Toast Twitter account, which just said episodes of the series will not feature Daredevil, but only Charlie Cox as lawyer Matt Murdock. The account has since added in another tweet, yes, Daredevil Born Again puts a focus on what Matt can do as a lawyer and what Kingpin can do as the mayor of New York. Regarding the Punisher, the account says, but when corrupt police start to misuse the Punisher's logo, the devil inside Matt is itching to be unleashed. And I'm going to be honest, after seeing what Kevin Feige and company did with the courtroom procedural known as She-Hulk, I don't have a lot of faith that they're going to be able to pull this one off, as Matt Murdock is the hero of the story, not Daredevil himself. It's going to be the blind lawyer as the hero of the streaming show rather than the actual superhero that's actually associated with the MCU, or at least people are hoping to be. I think Matt Murdock making a cameo here and there and maybe like a Spider-Man movie is kind of cool to show that he does have another job. And yes, he will have influence as a lawyer throughout the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but in his own show, you expect to actually see Daredevil. You expect to see the crimson costume. You expect to see Daredevil brooding on a rooftop with a couple of his screaming sticks in his hand, ready to exact some justice once he figures out somebody's being taken advantage of in Hell's Kitchen. But that's not what it's going to be about. It's going to be about Murdock and Nelson at law or whatever, as far as where the story goes. And we're going to see just what an amazing lawyer Matt Murdock can be, even though that's never, ever put any asses in seats. No one's ever actually read the Daredevil comic book series because it's a lawyer book. That's just like his side persona, where he's able to do some interesting things, and you can get some B and C subplots, but the main plot is Daredevil, the protector of Hell's Kitchen, exacting justice on people while they're taking advantage of people in his neighborhood. And that's not what this is going to be. It's going to be about Punisher is upset people are misusing his logo. Matt Murdock is upset people are misusing the logo, and maybe they'll get together in the end. I imagine you'll see him at one time in costume, and maybe he could murder some police officers. That would be on brand for Marvel Studios these days and Kevin Feige, as they just drop the ball that is the MCU so spectacularly. If you thought Phase 4 was bad, I imagine Phase 5 is going to be even worse. This thing is a rudderless ship. They are going down fast, and they're taking Daredevil with them. And they had the perfect blueprint, because my goodness, is that first and second season of Daredevil on Netflix absolutely spectacular. But it's a little bit too dark for Kevin Feige. We need more jokes like Thor: Love and Thunder to make this more of an MCU show. My goodness, Guardians of the Galaxy, despite being a good movie, just fucking ruined the MCU with their stupid toddler humor. Marvel insiders at Comic-Con also told Matt McGloin that the Daredevil Born Again series that has been filming is a complete disaster and isn't any good, but will be retooled to fix things. McGloin was also told the direction Kevin Feige has been going with Daredevil Born Again is in line with the Daredevil from the She-Hulk series. Yes, goofy as hell. The Netflix show is an adult and serious side of things, but for whatever reason, Feige chose to go in the complete opposite direction for Born Again and make it comedic, much like Thor: Love and Thunder, Quantumania, She-Hulk, Miss Marvel, etc. Which, of course, is a complete miscalculation on the part of Matt Murdock and Daredevil and what makes him special, what makes him a cool character within the Marvel Universe itself. There are, of course, jokes from time to time. Even Matt Murdock can be funny. You know, Foggy Nelson does have some good lines here and there, and yes, every once in a while you will even have a comedic subplot happen. But for the most part, the best Daredevil stories that you will ever read in comic books and ever view in streaming, apparently, are very serious, very dirty, very grimy, and that's the way it should be. And I want to see Charlie Cox as Daredevil fighting Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin again, because I thought that was amazing. I think they pulled off with the Netflix and they had a good chemistry. But we're not going to get anything like that. They've already neutered Kingpin. If you watch the Hawkeye series, they're going to further neuter him, obviously, in Echo, which will also, of course, neuter Matt Murdock, Daredevil, who they already neutered in the She-Hulk show to get a couple laughs because he took the walk of shame, because they don't take anything seriously anymore. Everything is just stupid fucking toddler humor, and they refuse to embrace what makes these characters and these heroes stand out, what makes them actually compelling as heroes. It's time to just remove all of that and make everything exactly like everything else. Nothing will ever be considered good. Nothing will ever be considered bad. It's just all MCU. It's don't worry about content, just consume more content kind of idea. And I believe this will ultimately be the downfall of the MCU, which is already started in earnest, and it's not a good sign. It's certainly not great for Daredevil fans. And of course, the worst thing about this is this stupid argument that's been going on about Frank Castle, Punisher, and police and military using the logo. There was an article about 2 or 3 months ago by CBR that was so embarrassing. I had to call it out and let this guy know just how stupid he is. David Harth, you are still a moron, sir. If you haven't seen it, you need to check it out right now. I put a beating on this guy. There's also a link in the video description.